Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and to all the people who are hurting out there. It's been a rough week. Welcome to the Dad Religion Podcast. My name is Jason, and that is Jim. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, it's been a week, my friend.
It's been a week. So,
So,
as you all
as you
know,
all know,
we have had a pretty crazy week in the United States of America. And I think we're just going to talk about it. We're just going to have a little conversation about it. I have some views that a lot of people probably wouldn't expect from me, but also a lot of people probably would expect from me. On what is today? On Wednesday, conservative commentator Charlie Kirk lost his life at a event in Utah. He was shot by a guy from a roof from 200 yards away. When I've had surprisingly a lot of emotions about this, like some weird up and down emotions about it. I'll say up front that Charlie Kirk was not my favorite human. I'm sure there's maybe one, maybe two things I would agree with him. Maybe that's a big maybe. Most of the things that he said, I did not agree with. But I will tell you, I didn't agree with him, but I would have fought for him to continue to say what he needed to say because this is America. We live in a country, well, let me take that back. We used to live in a country where we had free speech. We used to live in a country where you could say what you need to say for the most part, and you wouldn't have to fear for your life. And on Wednesday, Mr. Kirk was murdered in front of his children, his wife, and 3,000 college students, along with the world, as they watched it over and over and over again in 5K, over their phones, over their computers. It's dominated the headlines. And I'm really pissed off about it. I'm pissed off as I I took this as a excuse me too. My allergies are horrible, so I'm a little congested. I I I took this from a father's standpoint. Um, his children, I believe, were either 4 and 1.5 or 5 and 1.5, and uh, they have to relive this probably forever. It's everywhere. Not only did they more than likely see it happen, it's on the internet forever. Um, and that makes me extremely sad. Um, Political violence is a horrible thing. It 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 just reminds me where we're at in this country. It reminds me how divided we are. I made I've been thinking about this a lot, and 24 years and 2 days ago. What's the date today? Today's the third. No, 24 days and 1 day ago.
and for years one day.
What's the date today? Is today the 13th? It's today
It's 12.
12th. Okay, 24 years ago today, we were united the day after 9/11. Sorry, that was my math. 24 years ago today, on 9/12 of 2001, we were a united front. Everybody was on the same page. Even before that, there was no right versus left to the way it is now. We may have disagreed, but it was not even close to what it is now. 24 years later, we hate each other. And for what? We hate each other because of our free speech. You didn't like what Charlie Kirk said, so you thought, hey, I'm going to go up on a rooftop and I'm going to shoot this man in the neck and watch him bleed out. That is your that is what you do because you don't agree with someone. Charlie Kirk said some vile things, in my opinion. Vile things. Against, trans people, against, his whole thing with civil rights and, DEI and this, that, and the other. Vile things, in my opinion. Now, others may not agree. That's just my opinion. But there's not one thought ever in my mind that I want that man dead. He's a father. He's a husband. He's a son. He's a brother, I'm assuming. And to watch that shit happen, I made the mistake. I had a friend. I was at work when it happened, and my friend, he's a he's a conservative, and he said he said something to the effect of, "This is why I dislike liberals," or maybe he said Democrats. I'm not sure, but again, this was right when it happened. Everyone's obviously going to think that some crazy liberal did it, even before we know anything. But anyways, I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, Charlie Kirk was shot. I'm like, oh man, that's horrible. I hope I hope he gets better. That's absolutely horrible. He's like, no, there was so much blood. He's not going to make it. And then he sent me the video, and I did not expect what I was going to see. Uh, it
So
is embedded in my,
I
huh?
ended up watching it, but I watched a far perspective because I knew what it was going to be, but I wanted to know what it was that people had seen. I mean, that's like, but I didn't want to see it, if you get what I'm saying. Like, I just wanted to have perspective. But I'll tell you what I did get. I got the audio, and you could hear, the shot, and then you could hear the impact. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's
I
an
got the close up version.
that's I'm sorry,
I
Jason,
wish
I'm
I
sorry.
never would have saw it. It's embedded in my brain.
Dude,
It's absolutely horrible.
Crystal Ball told us today on Breaking Points that the internet was a mistake. I think I might agree with her. This has become really, really stupid, 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 stupid.
Yeah, and I'd like to say to those people who are happy this happened,
Fuck them.
who are cheering this on, who are laughing, who are making memes, who are making jokes. All right, what you're doing is you're cheering on the heartbreak of a 4-year-old little girl because her
Right.
father was just murdered.
Let me
And I'm
amend my
sorry, you're a
no, no,
vile
hang on.
person for
Let me
that.
let me let me back up. Let me back us up just a skosh on this and offer another way of thinking about this, because I kind of am starting to feel like everyone's victims in this. If you feel that way, then something has been broken inside of you, and that's a person who themselves is not right, and they're 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 deserving of our pity because they're in that situation. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? They're not in a good place, and you know what? We can pity them for that, and it sucks. The world has put them there, and part of what's put them there is people saying things the way that this man did. And I posted, actually, I commented on your sister's post today. Then I said, I disagreed with him about everything. I wish the guy never opened his mouth once, and said any of those things that were either anti-trans, or the way he occasionally would belittle, like, the loss of mass shooting victims. We don't need to get into that, and I don't want to get into, because there's an awful lot of irony in this whole thing, right? But no matter what this guy said, and what I think of him for having said that, I think that he should every fucking day have the right to say it, and every fucking night he should be able to go home to his kids, despite whatever the fuck it was he might have said that I might have disagreed with. This is like, And did you watch Breaking or listen to Breaking Points today?
I listened yesterday. I haven't listened today.
So today it was only about an hour long, and if I were you, I would catch up. They had a really hard time figuring out between the three of them minus Sagar how to categorize this, how to conceptualize what the fuck happened and what do we call this? You know what I'm saying? What do we compare it to? Is this like, you know, the late 1850s, right before the Civil War kind of shit? Or is this like the late 1960s, early 1970s, where people that are important are being executed and shot like in front of us, like one after the other, you know? And why? What the fuck is going on? Except the internet, bro. And I don't know if you caught up on this part or not, but you know, a lot of the shit that was scribbled in on those casings is this really weird gamer internet kind of lingo shit. And it's like, like there's this one, so first of all, this is not my area of expertise. I haven't played a fucking video game since Tech Mobile in the 1980s. Um, yeah, dude, I'm telling you, because I got addicted. And I'm like, oh no, none of that.
Uh,
I don't need to stay up until dawn trying to win the Super Bowl ever again. So, but there's like there's these symbols, these arrow symbols, and what they're starting to see now is that these arrow symbols in a specific game, if you hit them, hit these directions in this certain order, it drops a bomb. And so the whole message on this casing is, catch this, fascist, or hey fascist, catch this, as in like throwing something at you, right?
yeah, yeah.
Right. And then it's got these arrows which indicate in this particular game some kind of a bomb or some shit like that. Like this is like weird, fucking crazy. Like we just talked a minute ago about a friend of mine who commented on Facebook, right? That he was saying that this guy was like a lunatic and that it wasn't an assassination. We don't I agree with you, this is an assassination, right? But I don't know that a lunatic can't commit an assassination. And what this is starting to really, really look like is some lunatic fucking culture that's going on. That's like what is this? It's like almost like that QAnon stuff, with like weird symbols, or not the QAnon, but the 4chan and then the 8chan and all of this like weird gamer culture that ended up manifesting into what they, um, huge social movements that were based on jokes that they had created now. But now you've got people that are going and putting bullets into a long rifle. And it was just a 306, right? It was that rifle was nothing special, unless I'm mistaken. I think my dad's got one just like that. I don't know if he's got that scope, but I know he's got a 306. I know he's got a couple of 306s. That's a hunting rifle. That's not like a. That's not a semi-automatic. It's not a. That's not a what do you call it? A assault style weapon. It's and then to engrave those very specific things that really don't make sense to people that aren't part of that culture. I don't get it, bro. There's a lot of crazy. There's a lot of crazy. My friend on Facebook was right about this one part. I kind of think that what this is revealing is that there's going to be a lot of crazy behind it, man, and not maybe just single individual crazy. Like maybe there's like a crazy that's going on because kind of this guy's now starting to fit a new profile, right? This wasn't the other dude from Butler, Pennsylvania, kind of similar to this. Like you can't put your finger on what he was politically, right? You know, protests against Trump at the same time registered and voted for him, kind of things. I just don't. I don't know where to categorize this guy. But one thing I will tell you is that obviously he's not a liberal. This wasn't a liberal hit job. This wasn't like what they were reporting, on day one, that it was like some trans thing. I don't know where they got that information. I wish they would tell us where that information came from. It doesn't do
Well,
anything to help us not all hate each other more. I mean, fuck.
well, you have these major news outlets, putting out like that whole arrow thing. I think they put out uh that it was like pro trans because it was
Did they
going left, right, up, down. This is what they said. Now
Did they do
they
any
also
work? Did they do any fucking research on that before they went and posted that up on?
no, 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 no,
Come
no,
on.
no. Of course not. Of course
Do they
not. But
not have
there's also
do they not have any 20-year-olds on their staff that they could have said, "Hey, what does that look, like any 20-year-olds at all, or 20 to 30-year-olds that could have like looked at that and been like, "Oh no, I play video games. I know what the fuck that is." Come on.
um
That is
When I think of that, I think of up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, start.
What is that? I don't remember. That sounds familiar, but I can't.
What? I believe that is Castlevania. Up, down, down, left, right, B, A, start. You get 99 lives. Anyways, back to where I'm going. So there was also some it could have been Antifa stuff on there, like that Chow thing.
No,
That's like
yeah.
a
Yes,
Antifa song or something to that effect.
yeah. There was
So
definitely some catch this fascist. That's what he said, right? It was. I mean, he was very explicit about that, but you know,
so
so
let, so again, it could be a liberal. It could not be. It could be someone posing as that, because I read something somewhere about this movement where they like, I don't know if the hold on, the Minnesota killings,
right.
the dude who did that was in some kind of group like that. I'm no expert, so I don't know exactly what it was. I can't remember, but they like pose as a certain group, but they're actually a different group.
Like a
I
false
think
flag.
they're part of like a neo-Nazi group or something. But I mean, don't quote me. I could be completely. I don't have Jamie here, like my guy from Rogan to check my facts.
No,
So,
I think actually I remember hearing something like that about
um,
that clip as well.
but all in all,
Before you all in all, really quick, one other thing I want to add in about what they talked about today on Breaking Points, that was significant in my mind. It wasn't just the gamer culture. There was something about the language that was trolling, like it's trolling language in gamer culture, and then the idea that this murder, public execution, might have been part of some sort of trolling idea is truly psychotic. It's like it's you know
well,
it, and very dangerous, and to everybody. There's no one is safe.
the
Today,
the
yeah,
Trump the Trump shooter died, right? He was killed,
he was
correct?
shot. Yeah, he was shot by Secret Service.
Okay, well, this guy's alive. So that's
He,
one thing right there. This guy is alive, and
so strange.
hopefully
God,
we get something out of it. I I in the end, at some point we all got to come together. Like, when is this gonna fucking end, people? When are we gonna fucking say enough is enough? The far loony left and the far loony right can stay where they need to be, but everyone in the middle, right, left, needs to come together. When
yeah,
when are our
good
children
point.
gonna be safe at school? There was a school shooting the same day. We heard nothing about it. There's school shootings all the time. When the fuck are we gonna rise up, and when the fuck are we gonna, you know, get back to where we were? I understand the people in office don't want that. I don't think the people in the government don't want that. They like us at each other's throat because that's what makes them thrive. And I guarantee you, our president will use this as a something to better his chances. He's gonna use this to talk about the terrible left and and I consider myself center, but I'm more left leaning. I'm not a terrible person, and there's a lot of non-terrible people on the left. But in the end, when the fuck are we gonna come together and stop this shit that's been happening for the past over a decade? Ever since Columbine. Ever since Columbine, school
Well,
shootings are just like this fucking big. It happens so much and too much to where I'm numb to it.
Jason,
I'm numb to it.
I think it started with 9/11, like you had talked about before, bro. I think that is, if you, I mean, that's what Bin Laden had in mind, was to turn us against each other, to force certain governments to do certain things that would create division, and it's just gotten worse and worse. And then did he know that the internet was going to jump in and then like fucking throw gasoline on that? No, he didn't know that, but it has,
He got lucky with that.
You got lucky, huh? He pulled that inside straight, but it would have been horrific enough if he had just done what he had done, and he still would have gone to Iraq. We still which is, we're dealing with what's going on in Israel today, partially is related to us going into Iraq. We've never really, had attacked us. The truth is, all of even there's really no argument about it that you can address that doesn't go back like 150 years, or at least to World War One, when people went into that part of the world and started carving it up the way that they thought that it should look. And ever since then, there's just been this inevitable tension, even during times of peace. Believe it or not, during the Cold War, there was less violence around the world, or at least warfare around the world, than really at any other time over the last 200-300 years. And that was basically just because everyone was afraid that someone was going to blow the whole fucking thing up, and that was it. So they all behaved themselves. Shit. It's just, I don't know, man. It's hard to know. It's hard to know where to start the stopwatch, where this all started. I I think that your analogy, though, to get back to something might not be the way we have to go. We've got to find something different. We've got to find something new that we all believe in, that we all buy into. And I don't know what that is, but it can't start while we're all blaming each other and thinking each other the worst for every fucking thing that happens. And here's the thing, Charlie Kirk is dead now. So guess what? Never gonna and not that this would ever happen, but I'm never gonna have an opportunity to have an argument with that guy and try and convince him that I think he's wrong about these things, and appeal to something in him, and hopefully, maybe turn him, if that's the thing. When you have when when debate and dialogue are present, there's, no matter how minuscule the odds, there's still a chance that somebody could turn, or that you could turn, or that you could change your mind. But once that bullet's been fired, man, that shit's done, fade over. And
Yeah. I'm
how are
I'm
you
a
doing,
little
by the way?
weird. I'm a
I'm
little weird.
I'm
I,
sorry that
I,
you had, Jason. I really am, dude. The, the brain is not. I'm sorry that a lot of people did. Particularly sorry that you had to see it the way that you did. I think that's fucked up. The brain's not prepared to handle seeing shit like that.
my emotions were not able to handle a scene and shit like, and like I said, I I'm far from a Charlie Kirk fan. Um,
No, fuck. I don't like
but
him. I don't like him at all.
but I'm a father. I'm a father first, and that broke my heart.
I'm a
Literally,
father.
it broke me.
Yes,
I came this close to crying. I was so upset. It was anger and sadness. And I was just so pissed off that our country has come to this. Like, in the political ploys of right now, it's the right. Like, so when that congresswoman was killed, they didn't, the president didn't order the flags to half staff. The president didn't reward her with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. This is the thing, like back in the day, it would have been done no matter you were left or right. You know what I
so
mean? It doesn't matter. Hold on.
yeah, go ahead.
It doesn't matter what side you're on. Now, playing to the base. Okay, we're all Americans fucking here. We are all fucking Americans. Whether the president likes it or not, playing these fucking games of left and right and only doing stuff for the left and or the right and only doing this if they're Republican, and we're not doing nothing for the evil Democrats. He is feeding and feeding and feeding. This man has a chance to he's had many chances to bring us together as a fucking country. Yet they keep playing this fucking same goddamn song over and over and over and over again. We need to get back. We need someone to unite us in some fucking way, because if not, 250 years are down the fucking toilet. And we're at this point now. There's no turning back unless someone helps us turn back. We need to find common ground. We need to, you know, I I remember growing up as a kid and listening to my dad talk about politics. And my dad was Democratic. He was a Democrat, and I never once heard him say anything real negative about the other side. Never, never. Whether it was Reagan, it doesn't matter. Bush. Now it's I go for a jog or a walk, and it's just like people are just at each other's throat. There's this one neighbor who has a uh fuck Donald Trump flag in his front yard, and literally across the street there's another guy with a flag that says, "Don't blame me, I voted for Trump." It's just like this fucking war over and over and over. We need someone who's going to bring us together, and Donald Trump could, even at this point, which will never happen, even everything that has happened, he can bring some sort of comfort to both sides. He could do that. He could do that. He won't do that, but he could do that. And I'm just so frustrated. Oh God, I want to fucking scream. I'm so mad.
I blame
Sorry.
you not. I do not blame you, and your venting is absolutely appropriate. So, yes.
It's so infuriating and frustrating to me. I'm so mad
So
that this is continuing to happen.
what I believe, building off what you just said, is that the reason for that is this dissolving of like norms in politics, right? Now you're talking about in the political world, right? Like, so people go to battle over bills and shit like that. Like, you know, they fight it all out all day long, and then they go and they have a drink together later on at night, and they figure out
Yes.
how to do what's right. Even more so than that, you know, someone gets cancer and dies from the other side, and everyone is at their funeral, and they all have things. They all talk about the best parts of that person, no matter what, right? It's kind of like the samurai story that I heard. This was an amazing story. These two these two samurais, you know, who had hated each other all their lives and always fought against each other, and they were always at the same battles, always cross swords, and sometimes one guy would win and sometimes the other guy would win. But for them, it was always this huge grudge. But then the wars all ended and they all went their own way, and they were both very successful men, except for the one guy ended up being swindled. His family swindled him and then wasted away all of his money. He ended up dying a pauper, you know. And when he died, he had no gravestone or anything like that. They had no money for it. And it was the other samurai, his adversary, went and sold his own sword and his own his own relics and things like that he was keeping for posterity's sake in order to raise money to give this man a funeral and a gravestone. You know, like they were enemies, bro, like arch enemies. And there's something about the fact that we don't see the humanity in each other anymore simply because we're enemies. That's really scary, Jason. That's like, you know, that makes you feel scared to go outside sometimes. You don't know, you know, these people who are at the table next to you, you know, might not feel that way.
Yeah,
Anyway,
man. You can't have these you can't have these you can't do anything outside. You can't have political rallies outside. You can't have political rally. Yeah, I mean it's getting to the point now where you can't do shit for fear, or you're gonna have to be in like the Pope mobile, but not on
right,
wheels. You know what I
right.
mean? It's ridiculous. It's disgusting. It's sick. Um, Again, I don't want to harp too much on this. I think we've kind of babbled on about it, but I will say this. Um, we all have the right to our life, no matter our beliefs. You know what I
Yep,
mean? Just because someone doesn't believe what you believe, and I have a ton of friends who don't believe anything that I believe, I still love them.
absolutely.
I can still go to. I've lost a few friends, but most of them I can go and have a regular conversation with and not even bring up politics. And others I can have a political conversation with and it doesn't turn angry. Okay. Why can't we do that anymore? Why? The internet. That's fucking why. The internet. The internet has
Or yeah,
destroyed us as a
because
society. Social media has destroyed us as a society. The internet's great. Obviously, I love the internet, but
if
social media in
we
general
don't get
has ruined us.
if we don't get our hands around it, Jason, if we don't figure it out, and if people don't start seeing really, really, really soon what it has turned us into, and get our hands around this thing that has taken control of us soon, it will be our demise. And then I'm remember what I asked before when we did our conspiracy shit, right? Is this the plan? Is this AI? They're already ahead of us. They're putting this shit out here. They've done social media for us to lead us to this place. I don't know. Um, let me say just really, really quick. Um, I have a bread company, right? And I named it Breaking Bread because I was enamored with that phrase because of the cultural implication of bringing people around a table and there being safety there while you're eating, and no matter what, enemy from the enemy camp, you come over to the other camp, you break bread together and you're safe. You know that you're safe because you're in a place that everyone has agreed you can go to, and whatever your points of view, you're going to be able to express it. You may kill each other the next day on the battlefield, but they're at the table. Everyone's safe, right? You just
Ladies and
mentioned
gentlemen. Oh,
oh,
sorry.
sorry, what?
I thought you were
I
done.
thought you.
Sorry.
I'm,
Go
al-
ahead.
I'm almost done. It would be cool. You were talking about how we need someone to help get us past this, and I was going to parlay this into I want everyone, or I would ask people to go and listen to what the governor of Utah had to say
Mm.
today. Republican, by the way, someone who probably on matters of religion and lots of different things, death penalty and stuff, I'm going to disagree with, right? But he gave a speech that really hit me in the heart today about how much of what is in front of us is in the purview of our choices, because we get to choose who we're going to be moving forward, and we get to choose what we're going to do. And you know, uh, it'd be nice if we can get across the table from these people that we don't agree with. Get out. He's right. Turn off the phone for a bit. Get off your keyboard and go and have a meal in public. And hang out with your friends. Hang out with friends that you don't agree with. Just share time, because we're putting ourselves in serious, serious jeopardy, Jason. That's my thinking. I'd like to get everyone around the table, break some bread. You know, even I'd like to have Charlie Kirk around the table, fucker, so I could tell him. But dude, once they're gone, bro, they're gone, and there's no coming back. Come on, y'all. That's
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I thought you were done. I was gonna
it's all
say,
right.
ladies and gentlemen, the greatest bread guy ever.
No, that would be my dad. My dad and my uncle. They're great, great, great bread guys. Yeah, but
Yeah,
no.
your dad was my bread guy
We should
before you were.
listen.
So
We should look into that, doing something like that. You're a chef, you can get people around a table and get them, have the food be what brings them together and the drink that softens them up, and then have a real conversation and, see what that does to them. If you can get people together talking about something baseball, who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? I'll sit at a table full of Padre fans and I'll be the dude that they can all shit on for a while. I know, hey, no, it's all good, dude. They can all shit on me for a while because I'm a Dodger fan and forget that they're like Republicans and Democrats. And then after they've been dumping on me for a bit and they know that they've got this thing in common, and maybe we can start talking about this other stupid shit, that, like, come on, this was such a
well,
beautiful experiment. This whole democracy thing, this whole America thing was just a beautiful fucking idea. It really, really is. It's just it requires work, and I don't want it to die because we're fucking lazy. I mean, come on. Or gullible. We're gonna be duped by by social media into like not living up to our promise. I mean, what the fuck?
By Russian bots.
Right. Right. Fuck Russian bots.
Fuck Russian bots. Yeah, maybe we can put something together. I'll be out that way in a few months, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about that.
I think we should end this podcast
Yeah.
by just saying love each other, man. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. I understand what's happened over the last 8 years and the amount of hate and anger over politics, which is, in my opinion, these people don't give a fuck about you or me, left or right.
No,
We're
they're
all just we're
stranger.
all just pawns in this political game.
They don't know us, Jason. Not one of them will ever ask you how your kids are doing. They're all strangers to us. It's all that cult of personality.
It's yes, it definitely is. And I mean, there's obviously a few people who will never change, but I know there's good people out there. Um, don't believe everything you hear.
Yeah.
Don't believe everything you see on the internet. Love your family because you never know when they're not gonna be here anymore. All those people that you can't stand because they're on the other aisle and they're used to be amazing friends or family, just fucking let it go, dude. It's so
Fine.
dumb. I never understood the hate for family members. I mean,
No.
there's obviously something more to it than that, but just fucking remember the good times. Let it go.
Hey,
I know that's not going to happen for 95% of you, but
find those other things. Those with those people that you disagree with. Find those other things that you don't disagree on. I mean, hey, have a conversation about something else for a while. You know, you don't disagree on everything. There's no way that you disagree on everything. Otherwise, you wouldn't live in the same city. You wouldn't live in the same country together. You wouldn't both like the Beatles or whatever the fuck it is. There's got to be something that we can start to do to loosen this knot. We're pulling on it from both ends, and it's just getting tighter and tighter. Pretty soon, they're just gonna have to cut the string.
I like
And
that analogy, man.
it's it's not it's not right. It's not right. And hey, I'm not going to change my fucking point of views about a lot of things. I feel how I feel, and I love my friends, and I love my family, and I'm going to defend them. If they're trans, I'm going to fucking defend them. There's no fucking way I'm going to. But let's defend them in dialogue, right? Let's talk about this shit. Let's figure it out like civilly, and then move on and live. Love, eat your food, worship your God. Everyone can do that in this country. That's what's so great about this country, right?
You know what I think we just did?
What do we do?
I think we just brought 42 people together.
You think so? 42? Maybe we'll get like another before this week is over, and there'll be 33 people. So to
All
those
right.
people, to those 42, hey, you know what? I don't give a fuck what y'all believe in. I love y'all. You're Americans. We're all humans, and we'll figure this shit out. We got to figure this shit out.
All right, homie. Let's wrap this bitch up. Thank you,
All right, my
everyone.
dog.
We appreciate
Yep.
you
Yep.
listening. If you even made it this far, you are the best. And if you didn't, I get it. I still love you.
And I'm sorry for all of you that had to see what we all had to see this week. It's not, no matter what you believe, I'm sorry that you had to see that. That's terrible. It's just terrible. And sorry to Charlie Kirk's family. They
Yeah.
there's no good that's going to come out of the fact that these people don't get their dad and their husband. It's just, I'm sorry. It's not. No matter what he believes, to be honest. So anyway, okay,
Agreed.
Jason.
All right, brother. Love you, man. Peace out.
Yep. You too, brother. We'll talk later. Peace.
All right, later. Peace. Hello, we're back real quick. September 12th, 2011. I lost a great man in my life, and I was going to talk about him near the end of this podcast, but I totally forgot. We got into this conversation. So I just want to tell my dad that I love him. I miss him. He was an amazing, amazing man who raised an amazing family. And I just want to say, rest in peace, Papa. I love you and I miss you.
And I'll say
Thank you.
this, I just want to raise a glass, that I don't, disguise the fact that I'm part of the news. I think you guys are a great lot, good plan, and, to Papa Hughes, may you rest in peace, my brother.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
All
it.
right, hey, you take
All right.
care.
Love it. Peace.
Love your family. Peace.